This is strange. Some would call it unprecedented, I suppose. In fact, that's one of the words that's been used the most in terms of lockdown. Never known, never done before. A little bit like this assembly. But when you think about it, it's been a pretty unique experience. It's certainly altered our lives. And what I want to do is to talk about how that's been the case. I reckon there's at least 19 ways it's altered my life in the last 12 weeks. So what we're going to do now is I'm going to talk through those 19. And your challenge is to remember how many I've actually done when I've finished. For those who can look it up, there used to be a show in the 1980s called The Generation Game. The last thing was you had to try and remember everything that was on a conveyor belt that went past. And if you did, you won everything. There was always a cuddly toy. There's no prize for this. Okay, let's start here. Routines. Being a teacher means my days are usually pretty structured. With this, there was no structure, so I actually had to try and plan my day. So I had a whiteboard, I wrote down the times, and tried to work out what I was going to do in that day. Second thing, one of the treats was to be able to go out for a bit of exercise. I hate walking, but I ended up walking maybe 60 times in 70 days. I probably won't do that again. In terms of work, I'm now a massive YouTuber. If you go on my Mr. Ward Does Politics, you'll find I've got 51 subscribers. Oh yes. In terms of meetings, we now do these online. As you can see here, Mr. Gargat's the only one who has books in his house. In terms of family life, things have changed quite a bit. Both my boys are supposed to be doing exams this summer, so they haven't. And now they just got their fingers crossed, hoping their grades are right. We had our family birthday. This is my wife's birthday here online, which was actually quite pleasant. We as a family are now watching more TV together. There's been some great stuff on Netflix. Last Dance has been awesome. We're now watching Luther, although don't watch that if you're not the right age. We've had a number of fire pits, played a lot of card games, caused a lot of tension in the family, but it's been good value. And I've been lucky in some ways. My son had a significant hamstring injury, so I've been able to help him with his rehab over this period. In terms of skills, I have developed two major skills, one of which is colouring hair. I can do that, no problem. I'm also now incredibly awesome at table tennis. That's the truth. I've also saved money. I can't remember the last time I filled my car up because, let's be honest, I've got nowhere to go in it. And secondly, I don't have to pay for haircuts, although the outcomes have been pretty harsh. In terms of keeping my mind and body active, there's been lots of these online quizzes that have been going on. We have to identify things. If you get a chance, ask Mr. Lovin about his special humming quiz. We're lucky in our house, we've got a gym and we've got some boxing equipment, so we've been able to get rid of some of the frustrations that way as well. We decided to do something about the driveway, which has been sitting there being ready to be changed for 15 years. So we're digging up the garden, which is probably a bigger job than we thought it was going to be. And the last three are really just irritants. First one, I've never queued for food as much as I have in the last 12 weeks. My wife still gets very stressed about people not being 2 meters away. And I probably had the virus at the start. I lost my smell for about 4 or 5 weeks, which was incredibly strange and very, very weird. So, I wonder how many of those 19 you can remember. For me, the biggest challenge is not knowing what's going to happen in the future and when it's going to happen. But the biggest positive has been this is probably going to be our last time as a family together before my oldest son left the house. So having that extra time has been pretty positive. What about you? How's it been?